The smash hit was bound to make a reappearance someday. It was nowhere near traditional CoD multiplayer numbers, but it was very good nonetheless. The next game to include zombies was Treyarch's next CoD game. Call of Duty Black Ops.
Listen, for the last time, where is the number station?
I'm told that you are the very best that we have, anywhere.
Every journey begins with a single step.
You can't kill me! My name is Victor Resno, and I will have my revenge!
That was a crazy campaign, but let's see what the Zombers has to offer us. Zombie maps sold DLC packs. The 4th DLC pack of World at War is supposed to add 3 new zombie maps. No 4th DLC pack ever came out because the release of Modern Warfare 2 was so soon, and Treyarch needed to work on Black Ops 1 anyways. These 3 maps were instead repurposed and shoved into Black Ops 1.
Association will hold the key to the real goals of Group 935. I still do not trust my unconventional allies, but they are of great use to me. But I digress. Who would have thought the MDT was capable of time travel? How many stations does this group have? Where did that little girl disappear to? Only time will tell what new questions await us in this theater of the damned.
Kino der Toten is extremely decrepit like the rest of the World at War maps. It takes place in an abandoned Nazi theater. Kino brings back the innovations from World at War as you'd expect, but Black Ops 1 brings a couple new things to the table. A new power-up added to Black Ops 1, the fire sale can spawn once the mystery box has moved. The fire sale will give you a discount on the box, making it cost a meager 10 pointerinos, as well as spawning mystery boxes at every box location. New enemies in Black Ops 1, Nova Crawlers, explode into a concussive area of effect fart cloud thing on death. They spawn once you turn on the power. They creepily crawl down from the ceilings and walls. They are interbinned with the rest of the zombies. They are believed to use Nova 6, the gas featured in the Black Ops 1 campaign.
The nerve toxin's so deadly that if exposed, you'd be dead before you hit the floor.
Originally, the map was supposed to feature the Wunderwaffe again, but they introduced a new wonder weapon. Behold.
Like the fist of Stalin! Up your ass!
The Thunder Gun. It launches everything away with a mighty wind.
Think I just sent that thing back to 1946!
The gun makes the map very easy. Kino is an iconic zombie map that was the start of many people's epic zombie adventures. Kino is very noob-friendly and just about anyone could pick it up and learn the mode. It's the beautiful simplicity of Zomboys. It has everything that Darius has and more. A little bit more. Black Ops 1 Zombies simply feels a lot better compared to World at War. The engine isn't even very different from World at War, but the game feels a lot less clunky. If you didn't play World at War Zombies, which many people didn't, Kino der Toten is the perfect introduction to the game mode in all areas.
For time and the world do not stand still. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or the present are certain to miss the future. I said, are certain to miss the future.
Oh no, I missed that. Prime Minister Castro, this missile crisis was the last straw. We almost blew ourselves up. Now we invited you here today.
In good faith.
In good faith. To sort this thing out.
And why is he here? He lost.
As I always say, forgive your enemies, but remember their names.
Also part of Black Ops 1 on day 1 was another map, 5. The map comes at no extra cost, but you do have to finish the campaign in order to actually access the map. It takes place in the Pentagon during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The map is entirely reused/reworked areas from the campaign. If you're a fan of getting violently pegged in a tight corridor with little to defend yourself with, you'll love this Zombies map. The map isn't well liked as it is very difficult compared to the other maps. You start on the top floor. Then you take an elevator to the war room, which actually has perks and some not very good guns. In order to actually progress and get anything, you need to take another elevator to the underground lab, which consists of tighter hallways and rooms. In there, you need to turn on the power and find the box, which is in one of the many rooms. If you're lucky, you might get a gun that doesn't completely suck, but most of the time, you are going to get a rocket launcher or ballistic knives.
Now, gentlemen, as I like to think, in the long history of the world, that there are only a few generations.
Sounds like someone breaking in!
It's just a storm, Dick. Sit down.
Warning. Breach detected on level 3. Initiate security protocol 115.
Once you have your suicide method acquired from the box, the new boss of the map, the Pentagon Thief, will steal your weapon, and the only way to get it back is to kill him while he runs around the lab, and he's just fast enough to turn the corner so you can only get a few shots on him. Odds are you'll have a crappy SMG to slowly whittle down his health. He eats bullets like I eat Campbell's homestyle chicken noodle soup. If you don't kill the steely man fast enough, he'll teleport out of the map for good along with your guns. He gets his own special round that replaces dog rounds, so at least you won't be getting tickled in the anus by zombies during your wild goose chase. On the off chance you get a ray gun from the box, or you're really good, you can kill him before he can even touch you, and he'll drop a new power-up that is exclusive to 5. The Bonfire Sale. The Bonfire Sale lowers the packing punch price to 1,000 points rather than 5,000, and links the teleporters in the map to the pack-a-punch room so you can get there easily. 5 adds another new power-up known as the... and you get a minigun which is capable of killing zombies to death with minimal effort. The death machine won't spawn until you've turned on the power.
Oh my God!
It appears the Pentagon has been breached.
Zombies. Gentlemen, at times like these, our capacity to retaliate must be, and has to be massive, to deter all forms of aggression. Gentlemen, lock and load.
Viva la revolución!
5 has a new wonder weapon in it as well. Don't get your hopes up though, it's not super good. It's a freeze ray called the Winter's Howl. I will admit that it saved my life a couple times while I was in the underground labs, but it's no ray gun. You can be an epic Doom Eternal gamer and use the gun strategically. The gun can freeze them, which stops them in their tracks, eventually leading to their death. If it doesn't freeze them, it'll at least slow them down before they get a good grip on both your cheeks. Most of the time, players are stupid and they don't recognize its utility and instead shoot at the zombies until they die. On higher rounds, the gun isn't super effective. If you plan on using it, you should pack-a-punch it, or get the ray gun instead. Fun fact, the Thunder Gun from Kino is supposed to be on 5, deep in the files of Black Ops 1. You can find some voice files for the characters on 5 when they acquire and use the Thunder Gun. It was ultimately the right decision to put the Thunder Gun in Kino der Toten. Kino der Toten is the easy, carefree map that lets noobs learn the ropes, while 5 is a sadistic map that wants to drink your tears as you beg for your miserable life. Something interesting you can find on this map is a part of an electric trap in the underground lab. You can take that part and then assemble an electric trap on the top floor. It's not very useful, but it was the basis of a system that would be expanded upon in the future. If it wasn't apparent, Zombies was given a bigger budget than last time. 5 actually has an intro cutscene, and you play as the characters from it. JFK, Robert McNamara, Justin Trudeau, and Richard Nixon. These characters are, of course, portrayed very realistically.
Hands off the Mac, Jack! Probability of you touching me again is 0.
I see an America unafraid of beauty and grace, but you beasts aren't helping. Your president needs slugs.
Double points! Only a capitalist pig would want more than what he's given. There can be no revolution without ammunition!
Gotta learn to survive defeat. That's how you develop character. I'm not a crook, I'm not a crook, I'm not a crook, I'm not a crook!
The idea of historical political figures from the 60s surviving against an unending onslaught of zombies in the Pentagon, all while saying really stupid shit, is so stupid that it works. All in all, 5 is a very hard map, and the average player is sure to hate it. Despite all I've said about 5, I actually kind of like it.
People who like this thing will find this is the sort of thing they like.
If you want to have a challenge surviving the endless legions of the undead, then 5 is the map for you.
Viva la revolución!
Any last words, Mr. President?
Yes, Jack. Any superlative words of inspiration for our humble troops?
Do not pray for easy lives, my friends. Pray to be Stronger men.
Believe it or not, there is more to zombies on day one. What was originally a secret but later released to the public for everyone was Dead Ops Arcade. Let me tell ya, not a single human being gives a shit about Dead Ops Arcade, so I won't go into detail on it. It was kinda cool and a lot of effort went into it, but it isn't super important. Dead Ops Arcade is very different from traditional zombies. It's obviously a lot more arcadey, and it has an ending, but most people don't get that ending because it gets a lot harder as you go on. Black Ops 1 Zombies was super good at launch because there was just enough variety. Kino der Toten is the simple, easy map that gets new players acquainted with everything in the mode. 5 is the harder map to keep the hardcore alpha chads like myself occupied. Dead Ops Arcade existed. These things in tandem meant that Black Ops 1 was a complete zombies package. A large majority of players played Kino, and maybe a couple people touched 5 after they beat the campaign.
Security Protocol 13255 received. Performing integrity check. Awaiting launch initiation. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The next zombies map Treyarch made for Black Ops 1 was Ascension, a Russian cosmodrome, the place where they launched the big rocket thingies. The map is made using assets from the Baikonur campaign mission. It starts out with you and your potential buddies riding down on a lunar lander. When you reach the bottom, the map becomes black and white.
Main power offline. Auxiliary power activated.
Who is turning off the power everywhere we go? And now taking the color? Who's doing this?
Then a spooky voice tells you things.
Please, help me. She's coping. The mechanism must be repaired.
This will be important for later. Ascension is a very interesting map because it tried out new things and they were discontinued because they were weird. Regular zombies behave like they always do, but Spetsnaz zombies will do literal honest-to-God barrel rolls among other general dodges. This feature was never continued because it is strange and somewhat annoying at times. Some new things that weren't weird, new perks. There were 2 new Perka-Colas added in Ascension, Stamina Up and PhD Flopper. Stamina Up increases your endurance and running speed. Ascension was the biggest map at the time, so they added Stamina Up to help players get around.
When you need some extra running, when you need some extra time, when you want to keep on gunning, when you like a twist up.
Stamina Up comes in 5 delicious new colors, but in the game you can only drink orange. What a wasted opportunity.
Nighttime sea. The streets are mean. The things I've seen, the good, the bad, and the in-between.
Do you sense that? It's getting funkier in here. PhD Flopper negates falling damage and explosive damage. When you dolphin dive off of a staircase or high ledge, you create a devastating explosion that will kill zombies nearby. PhD is not only retarded, but it's overpowered when paired with explosive weapons like the ray gun or the Mustang and Sally's. Before this, there were never more than 4 perks on a map. To make sure players actually thought about which perks they bought, Treyarch implemented a 4 perk limit. This limit was here to stay for a very long time.
Security personnel
Ascension's most defining feature, zombie space monkeys. I know what you're thinking, it is really dumb. But monkeys were used a lot for rocket testing because they have similar physiology to humans. Scientists needed to know what would happen to a mammal in space before they sent actual people up there. Monkeys were some of the first creatures in space. But it's still pretty dumb though, to be honest, They crash into the map on lunar landers. You may be confused why they're not attacking you, until you see the dreaded they will steal your perks. It's up to you and your teammates to defend the perk machines from the invaders. It's very hard to defend 4 perk machines at once in a solo game because they are scattered all over the place. It's possible if you rig the perk machines with a shit ton of claymores and you turn on traps around the map. First they steal your perks, and then they steal your virginity with a super ground pound that will concuss you. You can completely avoid a space monkey's ground pound attack by jumping over it like in real life. If you defend your perk machines from the monkeys really well, and they don't even get the chance to start humping it, then you'll be rewarded a free perk power-up, which is the only way to get more than 4 perks on Ascension. Treyarch was lazy, and so they brought back the Thunder Gun from Kino and put it on Ascension, and it makes the map very easy. For some reason, the monkeys are resistant to the Thunder Gun and just won't die when you tell them to. However, Ascension adds 2 new pieces of equipment. The Gersh device makes a black hole thing that sucks in the zombies, and it's functionally similar to a monkey bomb, but it looks cooler though. The Gersh device deviates from the monkey bomb with its ability to teleport players to a random location on the map if they wahoo into the black hole. The Matryoshka dolls are those Russian doll things that are filled with more dolls and more dolls. You open it up and it acts like a scatter bomb. They don't do infinite damage, so they aren't as useful as the Gersh devices. If you want to use Matryoshka dolls in close quarters, you need PhD in order to keep all of your limbs for sustained usage. Ascension was a very cool map that added a lot of things.
But on to business.
What Ascension added that really changed the mode wasn't some cool new perk or weapon or lunar landers, but an Easter egg quest. Darius' flytrap Easter egg was really weird, and because it was weird, people were really intrigued. Treyarch decided to expand on that idea. Ascension's Easter egg is a quest that rewards you with stuff and also affects the story. Sadly, I don't have any footage of the Easter egg because it requires 4 players, and my friends aren't dumb enough to buy overpriced DLC for an old game. In the beginning of the map, you hear a spooky man tell you that she is coming and that the mechanism must be repaired. This man is Dr. Gersh, who built the Gersh devices. He was sucked into one by his colleague, Yuri Zavoysky, who was tricked into doing it by Samantha. At the end of the Easter egg, you repair the Casimir mechanism, and he was sent somewhere that hopefully wasn't hell. The players are rewarded with death machines that last a lot longer than usual. It's actually not that great of a reward. Going forward, Easter eggs would become part of the game mode's entire identity. Ascension was a really good first DLC that greatly innovated. First DLCs are really important in gaining the trust of players.
Well, I've always liked the monster within idea. I like the zombies being us. It's like zombies are the blue-collar monsters.
With the introduction of DLC 2, players can now feed Activision another $15 in exchange for 4 new multiplayer maps that you won't be able to play in matchmaking, and what you really want, a new zombies map.
A story of 4 lone survivors, 1 forsaken crew, and a shipload of the undead. The bone-chilling tale inspired by legendary director George Romero. It's anchors away for brain-splattering action.
George Romero was a film director known for his movie Night of the Living Dead, which is the first depiction of the modern zombie. Without that movie, The Walking Dead and CoD zombies would never have existed. He's kind of a Chad, or at least he was. In 2019, he passed away. Whenever I talk about George moving forward, I am talking about his likeness in the Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies map Call of the Dead included in the Escalation expansion pack. In the map, George Romero is the boss, and he is a constant presence. He is always lumbering towards you. You can't camp on Call of the Dead because eventually he will find you in your corner and he will shove his stage light in places it's not supposed to go.
You can't outrun me!
I guess this isn't over.
You can, but don't!
If you dare shoot George, he will understandably get very angry. He will smash the ground with his electric-y stage light. Any zombies that get shocked become electric zombies. They aren't too different. They just shock you whenever you touch them. Just in case that wasn't enough, he can also do a big yell which inspires the zombies to run faster than usual. Shino Numa had water which slowed you down, but Call of the Dead doesn't just have water, it has ice water, bitch. If you wade within it, you will freeze, and so will the zombies when they're low on health. If George is angry, you need to lure him into some ice water to calm him down. If you manage to kill George, he will drop a free perk and a death machine power-up. Call of the Dead added 2 new wonder weapons to compensate for Ascension reusing the Thunder Gun. The first wonderful weapon, the Scavenger, is a sniper rifle light gun that shoots weird exploding bolt things. These do an insane amount of damage and is the primary method used to kill George. The splash damage of this thing is seemingly engineered to your detriment and not that of the zombies. If you plan on using this thing in close quarters, you need PhD and you need Jesus. The other not so wonderful weapon, the VR-11, is a weird gun that utilizes real magic to turn zombies into normal dudes. These people can act as distractions, but it won't get you out of a slippery situation. The VR-11 also serves a bunch of other miscellaneous uses, such as calming down George temporarily. You can pack-a-punch the VR-11, shoot a teammate with it, and grant them a free insta-kill. Call of the Dead added one new perk, Deadshot Daiquiri. It makes you lock onto zombies' heads when aiming. I don't find it super useful because I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs, and I am a sniper with over 300 confirmed kills. The problem with Deadshot Daiquiri is that the aim assist sucks wrinkly ass, and this makes it a waste of a perk slot most of the time. Something strange that people often overlook is the fact that zombies can now come out of the ground and the ceiling. Call of the Dead is the first time that zombies could do this, and they've been able to ever since. Like the last map, it had an Easter egg in it. If you go to a certain room in the map, you can hear Dempsey, Nikolai, Takio, and Richtofen all trapped in a closet.
Did you hear that? Oh, sounded like someone outside. Hey, you! Hey! I need vodka!
Hello? Can you help us? There must be a blown fuse or something. It's dark in here.
Oh, man. That's wet.
They had time traveled into the year 2011 or whatever, when the Call of the Dead movie was being made. The Easter egg entails the 4 actors doing random convoluted things until they win in order to get the OG crew out of the closet. Richtofen came out of the closet a while ago, but this time we're talking about a real closet.
What did you do, Richtofen?
I did nothing. There's a light switch. Oh, I think I found a lever. Perhaps this will turn on the light.
No! Let go! That's not a lever! Richtofen!
Something that is not as it seems, however. During the Easter egg, you have to get a special artifact for Richtofen. It looks like a
long, stiff, hard golden rod. The fingers on the end. Oh, delightful.
It is a special real artifact that he needs for some reason. When the other dudes in the closet ask what it is, he just shrugs it off and doesn't tell them. Richtofen seems kind of sus, if you ask me.
I'm kinda sick that I have to ask this, but Richtofen, that a rod in your pocket.
9. Let's go. I've got us what we need.
Yeah! Drunk!
Thank you so much for your help out there. Bye-bye!
Upon completion of the Easter egg, Richtofen and the crew are sent to the next DLC map. Because you've been a good submissive little boy, Richtofen rewards you with his Wunderwaffe DG2.
I saw this one on a late night infomercial.
After completing this Easter egg, killing George will now reward you with a Wunderwaffe instead of a minigun. The Easter egg and its reward for completion was much better than Ascension's. Something I almost forgot to mention was the addition of a moving Pack-a-Punch. In this map, the Pack-a-Punch can rotate between locations. It's marked by the lighthouse. Just like your dad, the Pack-a-Punch may leave you when you need it the most.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine. You're not really fine.
This feature would unfortunately resurface in the future. Overall, Call of the Dead was a very creative map that innovated greatly. Treyarch would continue the trend of using celebrity casts in future installments of Zombies. The next map in Black Ops 1 is Shangri-La. The map was made mostly by Raven Software while Treyarch was working on the final DLC. Raven had some experience making maps as they were a major contributing team when making Call of Duties. They still are. The map is inspired by the mythical city of the same name from the book Lost Horizon, a novel by James Hilton about a utopian paradise in the Himalayan mountains. Someone at Treyarch either really loves or hates monkeys because they are back again, and this time they steal your power-ups. Whenever there is a power-up on the map, all the monkeys go crazy, and one of them is tasked with finding it and taking it back. While they run away with the power-up, it will cycle through different drops, and you can take advantage of this. You can turn a useless drop into a max ammo. If a zombie drops a max ammo and a monkey steals it, there's a chance to get a free perk power-up, which allows you to have more than 4 perks. Another monkey will rise to take the predecessor's place as long as there is still a power-up. If you reclaim the power-up and there is still a monkey on the field, it will come after you instead. If it hits you, this shit-flinging little shit will steal some of your hard-earned Zombucks. If you kill the monkey before it can swipe a chunk of your bank account, you will be awarded 500 points. That means if you have a double point, you can potentially get 1,000 points. Something surprisingly rewarding on such an unforgiving map. There are 2 more boss zombie types included in Shangri-La. There is the Shrieker who runs around and shrieks. He is a bit tougher than the regular zombies. If you get shrieked, then your vision will get blurry. If you shoot him, he will shriek really loudly, and it will kill zombies around him. The other one is a lot more dangerous. He is what mortals call the napalm zombie. He rises from the ground in a blaze of fury and fire. All will know of his presence on the map. If one dares to enter his unholy domain, you will have a weird orange thing on your screen indicating that it is hot in here and you should take off your clothing. He is much stronger than the beta male shrieker. The alpha napalm zombie will take reasonable, elegant strides to your location. He needs not run, but I have seen him run before, and I did pee a little bit when it happened. Upon death, he will erupt into a blaze of hellfire. If you get too close to him, he will. His Sigma male grind set waits for no one. Mortals that live to tell the tale can take advantage of the fire he leaves behind. Any zombies or players that wish to trek his tainted ground will be scarred by the embers of his wrath. He isn't as tough as he looks, but the presentation is just so good. Anyways, these three boss zombies together caused the Shangri-La experience to be quite chaotic, but never too chaotic. They add variety and never get in the way. Some people find these zombies annoying, but I don't. This model of several mini-boss zombies would be expanded upon in the future. In Shangri-La, players can find a new wonder weapon, the 3179 JGB-215, or colloquially known as the baby gun. It will turn zombies of all types small. Running into them will send them flying. You can shrink the two big boys of the map, but they don't stay small very long. You'll have to be quick if you want to pull the shrink and shoot maneuver. If you have a galaxy brain and think in 4D, you can try priming a grenade, and then shrink them when the time is right. One of the most unique wonder weapons in the entire series. An often overlooked addition in Shangri-La is a new piece of equipment called the Spikemore. It is a claymore filled with sharp shrapnel. This is an improvement over the original claymore, as this does infinite damage and the default claymore gives the zombies a gentle massage. The Spikemore is actually very useful because it can be used on any round. The map doesn't include any new perks, and most of the perks on the map have been randomized. Apart from being a hard map, Shangri-La is known for its stupidly annoying Easter egg. For the Easter egg, you must have 4 players. Coincidentally, I wasn't able to get footage of the Easter egg. You also need to have a Richtofen in the lobby who has completed the Call the Dead Easter egg. You need to have the golden rod from before in your inventory. This is a nice way of encouraging players to buy the DLCs. In the Easter egg, you must travel back in time to an eclipse. During this time, you must do things. After doing those things, you'll be sent back to the present. The Easter egg ends with you helping out some explorer dudes and using the shrink ray to shrink a meteor that landed on the temple. Richtofen acquires it. At this point, you'll begin to realize he is planning for something. An alternate agenda, if you will. Speaking of time travel, let's travel back in time to when Black Ops 1 was in development. That was a very clever segue. Black Ops 1 wasn't always supposed to continue the story started in World at War with Kino der Toten. It was originally supposed to include several Vietnamese zombies maps. Seeing as Black Ops 1 was a game set during the Cold War, with several campaign missions taking place in the Vietnam War, they wanted to have the zombies also set in Vietnam. During this phase of development, several ideas that would later be turned into the Nova Crawlers and the zombie types found in Shangri-La would see their debut in concept art for this cut Vietnam zombie stuff. Even the zombie ox and cow things from Dead Ops Arcade found their origins from this concept art. If you would like to learn more, JohnnyJ25 has a video that is more in-depth on the matter. The main reason people don't like Shangri-La is because the only way to access the Pack-a-Punch is to have all players in the match stand on different pressure plates at the same time. Sounds cool in theory, but in execution it's awful. If you ever wanted to play a public match of Shangri-La, it's nearly impossible to coordinate everyone to get Pack-a-Punch open. This inadvertently makes the hard map even harder. But you see, that problem no longer exists because it is impossible to get into a public match of Shangri-La. I never had this problem because I only really played public matches during the BO2 days. Shangri-La is a hard map and I kind of wish the Shrieker and Napalm Zombie returned in their true forms in other maps. It is a rather enjoyable experience for those who want a test of their zombie survival skills. This map has no real training spots and is generally tighter than your mother. This map was originally hated, but with time was accepted as something of a challenge, which was something lacking from future installments.
I have water in my dark.
If you remember the beginning of the Black Ops 1 section of this video, then you'll remember some photos I showed you. If you look closely, you can see what looks like the Eiffel Tower, the legs of the tower, and more. You'd be able to go to the Eiffel Tower, the catacombs, and I'm assuming there'd be baguettes involved somehow. Along with this Paris map, there was supposed to be a coast map, which later became Call of the Dead, and a cinema map, which became Kino der Toten. However, Treyarch wanted a much grander conclusion to the story thus far, so they scrapped the Paris map. Black Ops 1 Final DLC was very interesting. Instead of adding new multiplayer maps, they decided to make zombies exclusive content. They remastered the 4 World at War maps as well as adding one new map, Moon. Moon was originally supposed to be in Paris. They reconsidered and thought, what could be a grander conclusion than going to the moon? Moon starts out on Earth, and Area 51. The devs wanted to make getting to the moon a spectacle, and it would be kind of boring if you just started there.
Oh, this must be the place where they bake all the apple pies!
The round counter does not show up immediately, like in other maps. Moon has a very different spawn room. The starting area is known as No Man's Land, because it swiftly becomes a death trap if you stay there. In order to leave, you must exit through a teleporter. This teleporter is blocked to start, but after you hear one buzzer, it opens. If you stay in No Man's Land after the second buzzer, all hell breaks loose. The zombies become tougher, and hellhounds finally make an appearance after being absent for so long. Some masochists like to stay in No Man's Land for the challenge. What makes No Man's Land especially difficult to stay in is the fact that power-ups do not spawn in No Man's Land, which means no max ammos. The Pack-a-Punch machine is here, so if you manage to avoid getting clobbered and accumulate 5,000 points, you can acquire Mustang and Sally. And with those, you might be able to survive a little bit longer. What's also in No Man's Land is Jug and Speed Cola. You can technically get Jug before round 1 on this map. In order to teleport out of No Man's Land, you and the friends you forced to play zombies with you must step onto the pad. The start to the map became iconic and a defining aspect of Moon. Everyone who played this map with friends probably has a story about hauling ass to the teleporter. Alright, now we've made it. We are not only in space, but we're on the moon. You must equip a spacesuit in order to breathe.
No shit.
PES active. Welcome to Griffin Station. Artificial gravity and life support systems are offline.
Moon has low gravity environments. After you turn on the power, some areas regain oxygen and somehow regular gravity. These indoor areas allow you to remove your PES. Oh boy, I sure hope nothing bad will happen if I toss this grenade near a window.
Oh my. Now we have a problem.
Massive decompression in receiving bay.
Windows found on the moon base can be destroyed with explosives. Upon the window being destroyed, the room will be exposed to the harsh vacuum of space where there's no oxygen, no medium for sound to travel in, and no one to hear you scream. This feature is annoying because this means you cannot use any explosive weapon indoors unless you are being careful. The strategy of running around with Mustang and Sally or the ray gun while using PhD was now heavily discouraged while inside. A new boss found on Moon, the astronaut zombie, will take the name of someone on your friends list, or the name of a developer, or some other preset name. The astronaut zombie lives up to his name. If you get too close, he will explore Uranus. He headbutts you so hard you get teleported somewhere random, and he also takes away one of your perks, because fuck you. This is made even worse by the fact that Jug and Speed are both located back on Earth. The only way to get Jug or Speed back is to teleport to Area 51 again. Every time you spawn there, it alternates between Speed and Jug. This whole process of getting your perks back is super time consuming, and there's a good chance you'll die before you take a tug on that sweet sweet Jug once more. This map seems to be designed with the astronaut in mind because it is made of corners. Getting violated by the astronaut is the most fucking annoying thing ever.
I'm gonna kill myself!
Upon killing the astronaut zombie, he will do a big blam, which will kill all nearby zombies and send you flying. This is very fun. Nova crawlers from Kino and 5 are back, and now they can teleport for some reason. The way they teleport can be quite annoying. Moon introduced a new wonder weapons, the Zap Guns. These pew-pew pistols were the very first wonder weapon to be dual-wielded. They are like the Wunderwaffe, except that they only zap one zombie at a time. You can combine the two zap guns into the wave gun. It shoots a thingy and it will make a group of zombies die. The wave gun is on par with the thunder gun. This combined with the zap guns make these bad boys pretty effective against the undead onslaught. Now in terms of equipment, Moon has you covered. They brought back the Gersh device from Ascension, and they introduced the Quantum Entanglement device, or QED. This device can do many things. Some of them good, some of them bad. It can spawn an air blast like the one that happens after you kill the astronaut zombie. It can spawn in power-ups. The QED giveth points, and the QED taketh away points. The QED also does a funny thing where it spawns a gun and it spins it around while firing it rapidly. This can very easily kill you, especially if it is a rocket launcher. The QED must have a mind of its own because it seemingly manages to blow up the windows every single time I'm indoors. The QED is one of the most interesting pieces of equipment of all time. Much like the spacesuit, you can pick up the hacker. It lets you do a variety of miscellaneous things, like undrink a perk or buy a door for less money. You can hack a power-up and turn it into a max ammo. I tried hacking the zombies, but for some reason it just wouldn't let me. You can't have a suit and a hacker at the same time because video game. The hacker is used for something very important on this map. After turning the power on, there's a random chance every once in a while that one of the excavators will breach an area of the map.
Warning. Excavator Omicron will cause decompression of Tunnel 11.
Now, if my calculations are correct, that digging thingy is going to fuck us up!
If the excavator breaches an area, it becomes depressurized.
Warning. Massive decompression in Tunnel 6.
If you walk into the excavator while it does its thing, it will fucking kill you. You can prevent this awful fate by hacking the excavator controls with this magical rectangle, and it will award you 1,000 points. This will keep happening all throughout the match. This, like the astronaut zombie, is kind of annoying. This would be a lot better if it rewarded you with a max ammo every time you restore control to an excavator. On the surface of the moon, a perk makes its first appearance.
Legend tells us of a man, a hero in a tortured land, where senoritas lived in fear, their lonely nights in deep despair. He was El Puro!
Mule Kick. Mule Kick allows you to carry 3 weapons. If you lose Mule Kick, you will lose whatever is in your 3rd weapon slot. This combined with its price of 4,000 points makes purchasing Mule Kick a tough decision. Mule Kick was not only present on Moon, but it was added to every other map in Black Ops 1, even the World at War maps, including Noctur and Toten. Now that I've exhausted every aspect of Moon's gameplay, onto the Eastery egg. I'll be using the Black Ops 3 remastered version for footage because I couldn't do this on Black Ops 1. My friend didn't have this DLC for Black Ops 1, but he did have Zombies Chronicles, and also Black Ops 3 has theater mode, while Black Ops 1 does not. The Easter egg was the ultimate conclusion to the story built up all throughout World at War and Black Ops 1. Strange lunar activity had actually been hinted at since World at War. Now it is time to dive into the straightforward and simple story of CoD Zombies. Richtofen's grand scheme was to become a god. Ever since he touched the Moon Pyramid device, or MPD, he heard voices that instructed him to enter aforementioned MPD, and this turned the rational scientist into an eccentric fucking weirdo. Side note number 1. The MPD is definitely based on the Moon monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Even the orange wall things are the same. During the Black Ops 1 days, the story was that the MPD was built by an ancient alien race known as the Vrilya. Side note number 2. The Vrilya is its own Nazi conspiracy rabbit hole, but to cut it short, the Vrilya originate from a sci-fi story, Vril, the Power of the Coming Race, written by Edward Bulwer Lytton in 1871. The Vrilya live in the Hollow Earth. Our Aryan alien hybrids have an infinite energy source simply called Vril, and are perfect beings who know no war and live in a utopian society. The Nazis later created an occult group trying to find the Vrilya, but alas, they did not find the fictional alien race. Some conspiracy theories state that the Glocka UFOs are powered by Vril. In Zombies, the MPD has the ability to transfer the soul of the user into a magical realm known as Agartha or Argatha, which is another Hollow Earth theory with esoteric and occult origins. Upon entering the MPD and connecting to Agatha, you are given godlike powers and gain control of the zombies, among other things. Richtofen deciphered the hieroglyphs on the machine and figured out its purpose. Upon powering up the MPD with the sufficient amount of human souls, the scientists were met by Dr. Maxis's daughter, who was thought to be dead after she and her father were put into the teleporter by Richtofen. Samantha ran to the pyramid and entered it. The scientists were unable to get Samantha out of the pyramid, so they teleported Dr. Maxis, who they figured was also actually alive, to the moon in order to coax her out of the pyramid. They did not anticipate that Dr. Maxis would tell her,
Can you do something for me? Something very important.
Yes?
Kill them all.
It was initially believed that Dr. Maxis was shot by another person who was not himself, but it turns out, according to the almighty timeline, that he managed to get a hold of a gun despite being held captive, sort of, and shot himself. Somehow. This made Samantha snap and vowed revenge on Group 935 and all who helped them. Side note number 3, this is why the zombies mainly attack people and places affiliated with Group 935, as well as the 4 playable characters. Dr. Maxis' soul was sucked up into the MPD and his consciousness ended up in a terminal on the moon. It was impossible to get her out by conventional means, so Richtofen tried to switch souls with her instead. While you fill the MPD with souls during the Easter egg, she taunts Richtofen. In one of these voice lines, she hints at something terrifying.
The blackness will swallow your pride! Something far more terrible than you lies here!
This line will be important in the future. With the help of his 3 brainwashed companions, Richtofen succeeds and gains control of the zombies. Their eyes switch from yellowish orange to blue. With Richtofen now holding the power of the MPD, the world was in danger. Dr. Maxis, who is now in digital form and can be downloaded with the link in the description, announces to the other characters that he has a plan to try and minimize the damage that Richtofen would cause.
Seconds to impact.
Maxis severed Richtofen's connection with the ether by blowing up the Earth. This weakened Richtofen's power over the physical world, but he could still control the zombies. Maxis said the explosion was much larger than he predicted, but you can infer from his evil laugh that he may not be very trustworthy. If you travel to Area 51, you can see the damage firsthand. It was thought for a long time that eventually the 4 playable characters died on the moon. The mystery of it all and tie-ins of obscure esoteric crack-filled conspiracy theories like the Vrilya, T-Gloka, and Agartha made this era of the storyline truly captivating. Moon ended an era with a bang. Despite its divisiveness, this is one of the most memorable zombie maps ever made, in no small part due to its Easter egg. This map was not the mode's peak in popularity, but after Moon, the mode would never be the same.